I'm not wearing any pants, by the way. I'll stay seated. I'm kidding.
You're not the only one.
That's all right. CNN, they don't wear pants either when they were reporting from home. They got busted.
It's time for Red Salad Review with your hosts, Wayne Noon, Bragg Narlow, and Lou Max.
What's up? This is Rat Salad Review. Welcome to the show. Today we are joined by John Adams.
Love and War.
Guys?
John Adams and Donny. Donny, what was your last name again?
Bragg, Bragg. Bragg.
Johnny Bragg from the band Love and War. And hello, Lou, by the way. Nice to see you.
Cheers. How you doing?
We haven't done a show in like 2 weeks, so this is we're now restarting again almost, I feel like. But
yeah, Wayne, why'd you have to get married on your anniversary 2 weeks ago? How dare you take a day off for you and your family? Shame on you, sir. There's no days off in rock and roll. You will work hard. You will. Sorry.
Yeah. So welcome, guys. Thank you for coming on the show. And
thank you for having us.
No problem. And like Lou mentioned to you before we started the show, I really love the album too. This album actually came out in 2020, right? Edge of the World, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the bizarre thing that happened for us, we released it in February of 2020.
Okay.
And really, the big COVID thing hit like within like a month later. And whenever we released it, things were kicking great, man. I mean, we were selling records in Italy and Australia. We had band, of course, had helped put it out there, and we had been giving some files before it was released for people at some radio stations, and then we were getting bombarded, in quite a few different countries, even in Japan, and we were selling really good. COVID hit, and everything just shut down.
Yeah, we had a lot of good CD release shows coming up. We were supposed to do Jackal. We were supposed to do, I believe, Ace Frehley. That's finally going to happen in about a week and a half, right?
Yeah, we're doing the show with Ace Frehley in a week and a half, and this has been postponed 2 or 3 times over the last several years. So finally, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it really knocked us down. I mean, the album is strong, but you can't underestimate the power of COVID. Apparently,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, it fucked everything up.
Yes,
got it twice. I know.
Yeah.
I only had it once, and actually, I just got a phone call from my son's school. He was near somebody that has COVID, so now, now my wife's freaking out. I'm like, don't worry about it.
Wayne.
Well, hopefully it'll stay isolated. Nobody will get sick.
I think so. I'm not too worried about it. So
that's all right, Wayne. I'll be the new host of Rat Salad Review, the high supreme muckety muck of this
He's
great
got your
network.
back, man.
You can have it. You got.
Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I got his back. All right.
You can pay all the bills too.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. We're going pirate, baby.
Yeah. But Love and War has been around for actually quite a while, since I think around 2000 you guys got together, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It was basically, we started it off of a reunion we had for a band I had in the 90s, early 90s. Called
Lestat, correct?
Lestat, yeah. And we were together for 6 years, and then we kind of went our separate ways, and then we decided to get the band back together again, and we did a reunion, and we knew we couldn't go on under that name, and we came up with Love and War, and then of course there's been some member changes, and with our current lineup, it's been 12 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been in the band since the end of 2004, I believe.
2004, yeah.
That I came in a couple of months after I parted ways with Asriel's Bane, but it just seemed like a natural fit because me and John have a tribute band, a UFO tribute band that we've been in for
since 2000. We have a band called Lights Out. And,
sweet Jesus, UFO is one of my favorite bands ever.
We do Strangers in the Night in its entirety, and then we do stuff on Walk on Water, and some good classic Shanker as well. So
you cover the Chapman era too.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Not as much as the Shanker era, but I mean, what can you say about Shanker? We love Shanker.
Yeah,
and we love Chapman, but
yeah, we were doing a couple of Chapman songs, and we haven't done them lately because most stuff we've been doing lately when we play is just the Shanker stuff. But we're going to be bringing it back.
Very cool. I'll tell you how crazy of a UFO fan I am. I love the album Misdemeanor. So.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah!
Nice.
Man. Misdemeanor's a good record.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping to interview Atomic Tommy M one day. Him and I are Facebook friends, and I invited him. But he's busy. He actually still pursues music as a full-time career as a musician and as a music teacher, and he still looks the same.
Does he really? That's crazy.
But I wanted to ask you the reason why you decided to pursue under a different name, under Love and War, as opposed to Lestat. Was it a matter of trademark issues, or was it just sort of like to honor past bandmates that weren't involved this time?
Well, pretty much for us. It was pretty much my idea. It was kind of something that we'd been there, done that. You know what I mean? And the whole idea of the reunion thing was just a reunion of the guys, not of the name. You know what I mean? It was just to see what would happen, see if the chemistry was still there, and then, talk about writing some new material and everything. But it was just one of those things, we just wanted to keep it behind us, start something fresh, So we just came up with the name Love and War and moved on from there. And of course, that initial lineup didn't last very long, except for me and Geoff, the singer. We've been playing together since, we were fresh out of high school. We go way back.
It's a cool acronym if you think about it.
Yeah.
Law. They are law.
Maybe another a band name change, huh? But before you were going to talk about the band, I just got this UFO. Somebody was getting rid of some CDs, and it's a best of. Yeah, it's a best of. Yeah,
I have that.
I do too. Yeah.
Oh, that's not an album.
No, it's not. But it's the only one I have. So I just kind of started getting into UFO because that's like a band that I should have listened to years ago, and I just never did for some reason.
Oh, you have got a lot of
catching up.
Catching up. So. Their library is extensive, and there's some great music, man.
I think you'll like Andy Parker as a drummer, Wayne. He's got a great groove and he's got great tempo, so he's really
absolutely
good.
Yeah, I would say so.
Wayne is, and he's a drummer,
right?
All right, I'll take your word for it. So you guys released an album, I believe, in 2012, right? It's called Up the Ante.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. That was a collection of songs that we had started writing really pretty much from the first inception of the band. In 2000, and we've had band member changes. Really, the bulk of those songs were written when Donny joined the band in 2004. We had several opportunities to go in the studio and never really conspired. And so we, finally, whenever we got Ray in the band in 2010, the band was sounding better than ever, and said, "Okay, we got to get this band in the studio." And then that's when we went in. Yeah. And from 2012. Onward, really not a whole lot was going on. I mean, we were doing a lot of warm-ups for a lot of national acts and stuff. And we never really figured, hey, what are we going to do? We were writing songs and everything. And then finally, we're just dragging it on. So we got to get in the studio, And so that's when we did the Edge of the World thing. Of course, that took almost 3 years to record, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I mean we're the new Def Leppard. Come on, 3 years.
Actually,
3 years is nothing.
I think we're kind of rivaling Boston a little
bit. Well, the reason why that happened is we recorded it in Arcadia Valley, Missouri, with our current guitar player Greg Gill that joined our band, and he owns Endeavor Studios. He's been a longtime friend of ours. He was our co-producer, engineer, and so because it's an 11.5-hour drive, a 2-hour, flight to St. Louis, literally months would go by where we wouldn't get anything done, and his schedule, he was a teacher, and then with the band he was in and everything. So that's why it took out, if we were to go in the studio and just stay there like a lot of bands had, or just do a daily thing, it probably would have taken us probably about 5 months, maybe 4 or 5 months.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be noted that Greg also was our producer on Up the Ante.
He was,
and that's the whole reason why we went up to Arcadia, Missouri, is because he did such a good job on the first record. We wanted to keep that continuity, if at all possible.
Yeah, you already felt comfortable with him, so
absolutely,
totally understandable.
He lived in Houston for quite some time, and he did many bands. He did the first and second Azrael's Bane records.
Yeah, so, he owned a studio here. Him and Bobby Blotzer from Rat owned a studio called Diamond Recording Studios, and they were partners in it. And Bob was living here in Houston for a while, and all of that flaked out, and Blotzer bailed, went back to L.A., and everything fell apart for Greg. And probably within 6 months, that's when he packed up and moved to Missouri, brought his family up there. So,
got it. Blotzer bailing doesn't sound like anything new. We've read stories on Blabbermouth. We know all about that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, see those names quite often. Listening to the new album, though, I hear a lot of. I think you're wearing the Aerosmith shirt, right? If
I am. Yeah. Aerosmith is the greatest American rock and roll band.
And I don't know. He's wearing a
and I'm hoping Ace Frehley isn't watching, because we're going to be opening for him in in a week and a half. He's not going to be very happy.
He might say the same thing.
Wait a second. Check out my shirt. I've got a Kiss Army Crew. A buddy of mine who's a stage tech gave me the shirt last summer, I had to wear it in honor of Ace, obviously.
Of course.
He's a New York boy, right?
Right, of course. And so are we, actually.
Yeah, you're in upstate New York. We're at
we're on Long Island. Yeah. No, Long Island.
You're in Long Island. Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Can't you tell by our horrible accents?
It's not that bad. I've heard a lot worse.
Well, we've got Texas accents, so
yeah.
There you go.
Hey,
some guys in
we
Jersey
don't mess with Texas.
A lot worse, y'all. So.
Texas, the great state.
I used to live in
Stevie
Jersey.
Ray Vaughan.
Oh, that's too funny. So yeah, I do hear some Aerosmith influence in the music, and I also hear I heard a little bit of Iron Maiden-ish type stuff in the guitars, but then I also kind of heard like on the final song, I hear like a lot of like a Warrant type influence as well.
It could be, honestly, that it's real evident on the record. Writing all the music and everything and half the lyrics, it's kind of like everything that has inspired me, and you can definitely hear the inspiration I've had over the years, and all my favorite guitar players and everything. So I mean, it was definitely not an attempt to try to do anything groundbreaking. It was just music from the heart. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you definitely hear the influences in.
Definitely.
The stuff we love to play, absolutely, and we love to listen to.
Yeah.
And we were hoping.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and we were hoping that would channel into a lot of different people, because there's a lot of people that are hungry for that music, and it's not. You don't really hear a lot of new music anymore, even though if it sounds like something you've heard before. I would rather hear something like that.
Right.
that carries somebody carrying the torch. The music that I grew up with and I love so much. You know what I mean? Because right now, I mean, there's not enough of it. And I would love to hear a lot more bands that get out of the tribute mode. Because everybody, I know great musicians here in Houston that used to be in original bands, and they're in tribute bands now, because nobody wants to write music or try to do anything original.
And plus, that's where the money is when you get right down to it, especially down here in Houston right now.
Oh, who needs the money? Come on, write the music. Damn it.
Get a real job and then write your own.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember, creativity and monetary success in the music industry are mutually exclusive. Remember that.
That's right. Yeah.
Just put it out there, let the world hear it, and if they like it, the money will come. Yeah. But I couldn't help but hear, and you may think I'm crazy for saying this, but I heard styles as eclectic as Dokken and Saxon in your music.
Well, the Dokken is definitely there. George Lynch is one of my favorite guitar players, along with, of course, Michael Schenker.
And I mean that as a compliment, by the way, not as a disparaging statement.
Especially on We All Fall Down. I mean, and it's kind of there a little bit intentional, because it was kind of a way of again carrying the torch of that type of music. But yeah, it's definitely there. There you can hear it in a little bit of everything. You can tell my influences. Absolutely.
Oh, trust me, a big smile came across my face when I heard that. I was like, yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people have really embraced that. That's like, oh, wow, well, this sounds a little bit like this, or this sounds a little bit like that. I wish, that it didn't sound like anything at all. But unfortunately, all of the bands that we love so much, we're all kind of sharing the same kind of sound. There are a handful of those bands that are completely groundbreaking, of course, but there's a lot of bands that are just kind of carrying the torch, and we're one of them.
Yeah, the Saxon, I'll take that as a compliment, because
Saxon is great.
Nigel Glocker has always been one of my favorite drummers. I mean, the guy is, I think he's pushing 70 or something like that, and he still kills.
Oh, yeah, I just saw Saxon open up for Priest 4 years ago on St. Patrick's Day of all days.
And hell yeah.
I tell you, that there was no slowing down that band. And you could tell they still enjoy what they do because of how well they played. And there's nothing wrong with borrowing influence from bands that I think it's wrong when you blatantly rip them off. But if you take influence from like all your best, the bands that meant something to you growing up, and you kind of throw it in that proverbial blender, and then you come out with an album as great as this, it makes it sound original. I'm telling you, this sounded like a freaking 16-ounce steak on top of a freaking plate with, like the fixings. I mean, the asparagus and the mashed potatoes. Yeah. That's how meaty, juicy this album sounded. I loved it.
Yeah, there was a lot of production put into it. And, we did a lot of guitar overdubs, and we spent a lot of time on it. That's, over the course of 2.5 years, whatever. We did a lot on the whole production end of it. And then on the mix down process and everything, we took our time. And, between all the overdubs on the vocals and the guitars and everything, there's big production. That gives it that really full sound.
It shows. I mean, the production on it is great. Wayne, you know how I feel about overcompression on music. It drives me absolutely crazy.
Me too.
This sounds like it breathes. So that's great.
Thank you. Thanks, y'all.
And you know that because me and Lou do music together too. We've been doing cover songs, but we're not getting paid to do them. But when we send our stuff,
it's a labor of love.
Yeah, when we send our stuff to get mixed, and stuff like that, I like them to feel real. I don't like it to feel so compressed and so put together like perfectly. I just like everything to feel natural and real. So, and that's what's missing in music. So
we are in the middle of recording original material right now. I finally got around to it. So
that's great. Well, you mentioned a labor of love, and that's what it's been for all of us because, obviously there's no money, and making that album really it cost me a fortune. But for me, it's something that I would have never thought twice about because, again, it's something I love to do. And it's something that, I'll do it again if I could. I don't know if I'll ever make any of it back. It doesn't really matter. I just want to put something good out there and I want people to enjoy it. And, hopefully, it'll still continue to do well. We just signed a distribution deal with Animated Insanity Records out of the Albany area of New York. And we're going to get European distribution through No Dust Records in Sweden. So hopefully, and this is all happening right now, they're going to take our first record and the new one, and they're going to make a 2 CD set with a 12-page booklet. And hopefully, I think by the time we have a show with Zebra coming up in July, we're thinking it's going to be released. So fingers crossed. I'll make sure you guys get a copy. Please. Just for if anything, just so you can bring in your CD collection back there with this amazing.
I don't think you have enough CDs back there.
I don't. No, I have a little space left on the bottom back there somewhere.
That'll be filled up in a day. Anyway,
I don't know if you can see there's a few of my guitars hanging up. So
that's worth a lot more than my CD.
Heaven, I'm in heaven. Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What was I going to say though? I have to ask because I know in New York, Wayne and I, we were driven batshit crazy with the whole, pay to play thing out on Long Island clubs. Does Texas have that problem too?
Well, I mean, I think you can get it. You can get gigs, but you won't get paid anything. I don't see a lot of it where you have to pay to play. Now, like for us, for example, we're in really one of my best friends is a big promoter here in town, and we will do a lot of shows. He'll put us in front of some great acts and everything, but we'll do it for next to nothing because it's the promotion alone being like say opening up for Night Ranger or somebody is priceless. You can't So if he says we don't have any money in it, we says who cares? Come on, we're opening for Night Ranger in front of 3,000 people. But we never have to pay to play. I mean, we haven't seen that down.
We've also, this guy is also been very helpful in getting us a lot of really cherry gigs. We've done UFO 3 times, we've done Michael Schenker twice, we've done YNT, Queensryche, Rat, Tesla, just to name a few. And of course, that's great exposure. We get a little bit of money, but I mean, it's kind of a full circle thing for us because these are bands that I cut my musical teeth on and used to play in cover bands when I was first starting out. So we get to do shows with these guys, and I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and a big shout out to our friend John Escamilla with Jet Speed Entertainment. Absolutely. John, love you, brother. And if he would have said, well, the auction is there, if you want this gig, you got to pay to do it, we would have done it. But we haven't run across it. And I don't know anybody else that's doing anything either where they have to do the pay to play thing. I know they do it out in LA, I've heard. So obviously they do it in New York, but I haven't seen it yet down here.
Well, hopefully it stays that way. Since you play with Queensryche, what do you think of Toddler Tour? Or
that was the version of that was obviously the version we played. I think he's amazing. I really do. And he's a great guy, and his voice is fantastic. And all the guys were great. Actually, Michael Wilton played my Black Les Paul that's hanging up there. The 1976 I had. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he asked if he could play it. And I was like, hell yeah, you can play my guitar, dude. Shit.
$500. Well, sorry.
We also got to do about a month, maybe 6 weeks later, we got to play with Geoff Tate's versions of Queensryche that was going around, I guess, 2014, 2015, something like that.
Yeah.
And
don't ask the question, Wayne.
Don't do it.
Actually, in that time era when we did Todd Latore's version and we saw Tate's version, I think Latore's voice was better. Back in the day, Tate's obviously was,
right.
But I think, in 2014, his voice wasn't up to par and he wasn't belting out everything like Latore was. And Latore just killed it.
Yeah.
And he, not to mention, he's a badass drummer too.
Oh yeah, he did that whole last album that they did.
Yeah,
so,
he took over Tate and Rockenfeld's positions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, at least there wasn't any spitting going on, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, I heard about that.
Man, really?
But I'm thank you for answering that question without us having to nudge, wink you. So
absolutely, yeah.
They knew where we were going with it, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But I can't believe that you guys are going to be opening up for Zebra. I know Randy Jackson very well, and no, Wayne, I'm not talking about American Idol, Randy Jackson's dog. Please, I've opened up for Randy many times when I was a bassist, keyboardist in a Rush tribute band, so I know what you're talking about.
Oh, very cool. Much respect.
But please give Randy my best when you see him.
I will, absolutely, Lou. You got it. Yeah, we the first time I ever saw Zebra was 1979. And I was in high school, and they played nothing but Led Zeppelin and Rush, and they played a couple of original songs. Mm-hmm. And what the Zeppelin and the Rush they just killed it. I mean, nobody was doing that back then like they were doing it.
Yeah. They still kill it.
Yeah, they still do. Absolutely, yeah. But to see them evolve, and then several years later when the first record came out, and then they were selling out everywhere down here because they're just 4 hours or 5 hours away from New Orleans, so they play here a lot.
Yeah, they should have been bigger than they were as far as
absolutely.
I mean,
right.
The talent pool in that band, the songwriting skill, the performances.
Absolutely. I mean,
not to mention it's a 3-piece band. I mean, there's last time I saw them, it was right before COVID hit, and I mean they still all had it. We've had several chances to do shows with them, but through one thing or another happening, and it never happened until now. And it's another full circle thing for me because first time that I was legal to go out to a bar and go drink, one of the first bands I ever saw was Zebra at the Agora Ballroom.
Oh yeah.
These guys opened up with Spirit of Radio.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, wow.
And it blew my mind. And then they went into the Rain song from Zeppelin right after that. Yeah. So, one of the first bands I ever got to see as a legal drinker, now I get to do a show with them. I mean, come on,
Yeah, don't get better than that.
I have a funny Randy Jackson story. So I we were playing a show with him at Napper Tandy's in Miller Place, and my wife Erin is there with me. This is way before our daughter was born, and so Randy and I are talking, and I'm helping him with sound check or whatever. So he goes on stage, I'm relaxing. He gets off, I'm ready to go on stage. Him and my wife are having dinner, and I go to him. I'm like, Randy, should I be concerned? And he's like, no, we're fine. And we had a good laugh about it, but such a sweet guy. I mean, I
really is.
That first Zebra album meant the world to me growing up.
Oh, man, yeah.
That thing, I wore several copies of that one out, for sure.
Wow.
We actually got to play with him. He did a solo thing, and he just went up with an acoustic guitar here at a club and called BFE, and remember, we got to open up for him.
Yeah, we did. That was pretty.
Him doing an acoustic thing, so it was really kind of cool. And he was just a super nice guy.
Oh yeah,
it was almost Zebra, but we.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, amen.
Donny, since you're a drummer, who influenced you to play drums?
Well, I got to say it's got to be John Bonham. John, I got to see The Song Remains the Same when I was very young, and I was already a big Zeppelin fan, but whenever they did, whenever he did Moby Dick, I was like, Mom, can I have a drum set, please? so yeah, Bonham was the first influence, and obviously the GOAT came right after that, and you know who I'm talking about, Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I like his style.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was okay,
he was all right. He was in some band that are right.
To be honest with you, most of my influences have been more European or British. Les things from Judas Priest, Clive Burr from Iron Maiden. Yeah. The list goes on and on. Obviously, I mentioned Nigel Glockner earlier, but. And I hope that comes out in my playing. When you go back and listen to it, I hope you can, hear some of those influences. One of our songs, "Strange Kind of Medicine," I really tried to put a Bonham feel in there because it's kind of swampy and bluesy and everything like that. And I just felt like putting a style towards that song it just fit. And to this day, I mean, I when I listen to it, I'm pretty happy with what I laid down. Yeah,
very cool. Yeah, when I listen to it again, I'll definitely keep that more in mind. But I love your drumming is awesome, and
thank you.
And I love the flow of the album too. And I do like the one thing I do like is which a lot of bands don't do these days is all your songs are different. They're not. It's not all. It's not like I'm listening to the same song over and over and over again. There's a different feel and there's different like you said, like different influences that you have and that shows in every single song. So it's a great album to listen to all the way through, and it's not something you get bored with, and it's not a long album either. It's like 40-45 minutes or so maybe.
Yeah, I think there's 9 songs on there.
Yeah.
So and by the way, that's kind of done intentional because I'm very cautious about when I'm writing on the music end of it, not to have songs sound a lot alike. Yeah. And if I do, I'll just put them aside. You know what I mean? And so I always try to do something that's different. And hopefully
up the ante is the same way too. I mean, if you go back and listen to that, I don't know if you have a copy or not, but
Ben sent it to me, but he sent it to me yesterday, and I'm like, I can't listen to all these right now. So but I will get to that one.
Unfortunately, it's not available on iTunes.
Yeah, it's not.
Up the ante.
It's not. No, I need to get it out there.
Yeah. But will it be when you're going to get it on the double thing? Will it?
We are the double thing, which will be coming out in a couple months. So I'll make sure you guys get it. Let's keep in touch, and I'll make sure you guys get it. I'll send you an email or whatever. Give me you guys' email address, and I'll mail them to you.
Will that be uploaded as well, though, for streaming? Do you know, or?
Well, I'll have to talk to Joe with Insane Animosity and see. I don't know if they plan on streaming it or not. So
okay. Are they going to do different artwork or anything for it? Are you going to keep it with the airplane?
Because the artwork is killer on the LP.
Yeah, my brother did that. He's an artist. If there's going to be a variation of it, it's going to be really similar. It's not going to be the exact one, but it's going to be
everybody froze.
Not me.
Oh, not you. Okay, just them. Thank God. There we go.
I'm so sorry, John. You froze when you were saying that. Could you repeat that again, please?
Okay, yeah, the guy he's going to do a variation of it. It's still going to have the airplane and stuff, but he says he's going to kind of tool around with it a little bit just to make it look where it's not the exact same thing. You know what I mean? But there'll be a variation of it.
And there's an airplane on the first record too.
Yep,
I wanted to keep that continuity. And a good friend of ours, an artist, Dave Foreman, is the one who did that, and he also does my bass drum heads, which they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's a really good artist as well. Yeah.
Right. Now, is the airplane going to be some kind of theme with every single album cover, or is that just random?
And are you going to do Bomber by Motorhead one day, if that's the case?
Yeah, right. Well, the whole plane thing, it ended up being intentional. It wasn't, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the second record, and we all had decided, well, let's kind of keep that theme because of the whole, Bomber Betty, World War II aspect of it, and we decided to go ahead and keep it. And our friend Dave Foreman did the first one, and I sent the idea to my brother, and he kind of fiddled it around and sent us some drafts, and so we're kind of keeping that. Probably when we do our next one, there'll probably be a bomber plane in there somewhere.
Or maybe we'll go the Boston route and have a spaceship or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Remember, it's got to be a big Texas landmark for you to be able to justify that, because that's what they did with I think the second album or the third. No, the third album, Third Stage. They actually had a Boston landmark as a spaceship.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Well, that first album people didn't realize it, but those are.
I was just going to say that. I just found that out like a few weeks ago.
I was like, what?
I didn't know.
Yeah, you got to look at it real close. But
you do, and especially now, like when everything's online, you look on your phone or on a CD, even it's so small. Like if you had the record, then you can probably see it a little bit better. Which I don't have the record, but
the Easter eggs are all exploited now everywhere on the internet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But there's one thing you mentioned I wanted to piggyback on about the fact that you said you only included 9 songs. Yeah, it's funny. When CDs first came out, that was 72 minutes and 80 minutes of music on one, compact disc. So, people did whatever they could to fill it out. That meant throw in every filler on there. I mean, I'm a huge Type O Negative fan. And, they joked that the reason why they had 15 tracks, although not all of them were songs, were just because they felt like, well, at least people were paying $1 a song for the cost of each CD, so they were getting their money's worth. But today, it's like, there's one thing I'm glad about streaming, like on iTunes or Spotify. It's that, you can release a volume of music, have as many songs as you want on there, anywhere from 5 to, 15, in your case, 9. It's like, it's the quality songs that you say, no, this is what we're going to release, and you're not ripping anyone off. And I think that's a good business plan. There
was 3 other songs that we actually recorded that didn't make the record. Yeah. 2 original ones that we decided to scratch. We just weren't happy with the way they were coming out initially. When we were writing them and rehearsing them, we said, oh yeah, let's add them on there. But after a while, I just think they just didn't hold up to the other songs.
Right.
And then we also did our own version of Delivering the Goods by Judas Priest. And we've revisited that. And so what we're going to do is on the 2 CD compilation thing, we're adding it as a bonus track.
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's a song that me and John and Ray just, when we first started jamming together, it was natural.
Les Binks, man. I mean, as I love Scott Travis, but Les was the best drummer Priest ever had.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he was a monster.
And your vocalist is going to fit that song very well too. I can't wait to hear that, because he's a very great vocalist. He's got that little type like a growly type thing going on, but then he also does that like high kind of power metal type screaming type thing. So,
he nails it.
He does a little bit of everything, and he's
You're gonna like that. You're gonna like that.
Yeah, you'll like it. He nailed it, man. He did a great version of it. So
yeah,
we also put some live tracks on it in the background and stuff. I shouldn't. That's a teaser.
We heard nothing.
I'll edit that out. So Ben from Online Metal Promo set this thing up, and how long have you been working with Ben?
Probably about 5 years, maybe 6 years now.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and right when COVID hit, okay, when COVID hit, it had been like 4 years, and he gave it up. He decided he wasn't going to do it anymore, and then I guess 6-7 months ago, he called me back or sent me a message and said, "Hey, I'm going to get back into it again. I'm only going to pick like 10 bands I really want to work with, and I want to work with you again." And I said, "Okay," and so we went back at it, and really needed to do it because when COVID hit, we were really riding a nice high with Edge of the World. It crashed and burned, and it was really a shame. And so like I was telling him, I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. Let's give this album one more push, And we're already kind of writing songs for the next record, and we really felt that Edge of the World really needed another opportunity, another push. And he got us that deal with Animated Insanity Records. He set that whole thing up. That's going to help us out great because that's going to give us European distribution. Yeah. And so it all worked out really good. So I'm really thankful. We're all thankful that we're able to get the record back out there one more time.
Absolutely.
And see what happens.
We also have a friend here in town. He works for KNAC, and he actually debuted a couple of our songs on KNAC, which that's that's a monolith of a internet radio station.
Right.
We also got some local play. There's a small radio station down southeast of here called KACC. It's Alvin Community College, and our good friend Paula Guidry spent a couple of days spinning our stuff, and I think we got 4 songs on the actual free radio.
Wow.
And Ben's been instrumental in getting our stuff into Australia, New Zealand, Greece, Spain, Japan.
Yeah. I mean, he's really helped us out a lot. He's got not any super big radio stations like we knew back in the day. A lot of them are internet underground radio stations, of course. Mm-hmm. But that's really what helped push the records, and we were really starting to sell really well. And then of course COVID, everything crashed. But he's been instrumental in making things happen for us, and we're very grateful.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Yes, thanks, Ben.
You mentioning all that brings me back to the days of Z-Rock, 1480 AM. I miss
that.
Man.
Dude, you know this. Yeah.
I so miss that radio station. We've got a classic rock station here in Houston.
Who doesn't have a classic rock station?
Oh my God! It just regurgitates the same crap over and over.
I swear to God, if I hear Freebird one more time, I'm gonna hang a hawk.
No kidding, man. Thank God for XM radio and stuff. Even though if you listen to Sirius radio, even if you listen to either Ozzy's Boneyard or Hair Nation, it kind of just reminds me back in the day. It just seems like it's the same old song. Yeah. Like, when are you going to play UFO, or when are you going to play some loudness, or when are you going to play something a little bit different, and
even then there's a hotbed of new talent out there. I mean, your band, Wayne is. I'm a huge fan of bands like Animals as Leaders and Periphery, bands that are innovative in their approach to hard rock and metal and progressive music. And it's like, aside from like their following, the fact that their following is enough to give them strong first week sales, but then the next week you got Cardi B back on the top 10. Well, so it's like
too bad. It's too bad. Like Sirius Radio, for example, didn't have a station of just new music. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody sends in their music. You get a guy, maybe like I want to, even if it's a guy like Eddie Trunk or somebody who's listening to the new music, whatever, putting it out there, playing it, giving bands an opportunity, because guys like us or bands like us and some of the bands you mentioned, what are the chances of us ever getting that type of opportunity? Because the whole age of getting a record deal, or getting any kind of big push or promotion from a record company is null and void. It just doesn't happen anymore.
For rock bands, it is.
For rock bands, bands like us.
For rap and hip hop and the like.
Well, it's huge.
It's mainstream. Huge for that, but Z-Rock, the affiliate that we had down here, was pretty instrumental for John's bands back in the day, and my bands. They would go after the local scene.
They would, and they'd play our music.
And they'd play our music,
Yep.
And then Nirvana took over. But it's sad that there's not so much an outlet for bands like us, the kind of music that we play. There's a couple of stations on Sirius XM, like Liquid Metal and Turbo and all that kind of stuff. But there's for what we do, for what the music that we like to play and stuff, there's really not that much of an outlet. It's almost like a throwback to the 70s and 80s kind of.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I hate, because you used to go watch MTV, you'd find so many new bands all the time, and now it's just like just you can't find anything, and you got to hopefully to stumble across something, like a friend would mention the band to you or whatever, and I hate that, and I don't like the radio either, but it would be nice to finally hear some new bands on the radio, instead of the same old junk all the time.
Absolutely, I agree.
I realize I'm muted. Yeah, I mean, like we have a what they call an alternative rock station up here, 94.3 The Shark. Yeah. I mean, I listen to it because sometimes they'll play a Pantera song, but Pantera hasn't been active since 2000. Rest in peace, Dimebag and Vinny, of course. And it's like their idea of like we play great alternative music, and it's the same songs I heard 30 years ago.
I know we need
alternative rock radio, and it's just like there's room for everything, and there's good stuff out there that's new that needs to be heard, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, hopefully, maybe somebody will take the reins on that, and if we got one really huge band that kind of opened the doors for everybody, just like Quiet Riot did in 1983 when their album went #1, and it opened the doors for everybody, all the LA bands and everything. If a band like somebody just came along and just everybody grabbed onto it, we got to get the younger generation to grab onto the hard rock or whatever. Once they do, I mean, that's the whole age group there that's going to start buying everything. Hopefully one day before we die, maybe it'll become mainstream again. I doubt it, but who knows?
One can only hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Is there any new band out there now that you really huge on?
Love and More.
Well, besides their own band, of course.
That's a good question. I can't really think anybody off the top of my head.
Or any bands that you've played with that you like that you've never heard of before, maybe that you came across.
No.
Oh, I stumped them.
Yeah, you did. And I know there's several of them out there, and I'm probably going to get a phone call or a message or something and say, "Dude, really?" But I can't really think anything off the top of my head. I really haven't.
There is one band I think you guys should check out. They're a band called Images of Eden. They're on Pavement Records. What's that?
I didn't think you were going to say that one.
Well, there's also Project Resurrect, which is Wayne's band too.
Which you can find on projectresurrect.bandcamp.com.
Those are two bands. Project Resurrect, Wayne's band that I'm not in. But they're good. But wait till you hear the stuff we do. And Images of Eden, they're on Pavement Records. I just saw them open for Yngwie Malmsteen.
Nice.
They did the whole tour with Yngwie the entire fall, and they were amazing. And right now they're in the studio recording their new material. Hoping to have them on my podcast again because I love those guys. And, I think they'd be right up your alley. You definitely got to check out their cover of Triumph's Fight the Good Fight, which is another band that was huge in Texas.
Yes. Oh, yeah, man. So, big time. Well, I just made a note of that, so I'm going to check them out. Absolutely.
Definitely. Great band. I think you guys would get along just well.
And Wayne, can we find any of your music online?
My music is everywhere. Project Resurrect.
Okay, Project Resurrect. Okay, I'm going to check it
everywhere.
out.
And
Wayne's a bigger whore for himself than Gene Simmons. Just remember that.
And then you can also check out Rat Saddle Review and Friends, and you can hear our cover songs as well. So anybody listening, and then you guys can look that up too.
Sounds good. That's
good. So now you guys are going to be playing with Ace fairly soon. Are you playing outside of Texas anywhere, or what's your tour schedule like?
Right now, no, we're not. We haven't done anything. We just kind of play the whole gambit around, here, San Antonio, and we have Dallas and of course anything in Louisiana. But right now we haven't been playing really anywhere. We've been staying here in Houston because ever since COVID or whatever happened, what we're hoping is with the release of this double CD thing, when we get it out there, that hopefully we can maybe do some promo on it and maybe get out and start playing, a little out of here. I would love to do some stuff in the Midwest. That would be fantastic. We've got some connections from some radio stations in the St. Louis area that could promote us. I've met a few of the people there, and our guitar player knows a few people, and that would help promote us in the Midwest area. So we'll see what happens, but that's our ultimate goal, is to try to get out there and try to get our music out and do some touring behind it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, with this release that's coming up in a couple of months, hopefully we'll be invited to play some festivals.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Europe, I mean, that would be awesome.
That's always been we've been talking about this since, I can remember. It's like one day, maybe going to Europe and playing, doing a festival. And actually,
that'd be a bucket list.
Ben had a line on the Heat Festival about 3 years ago in Germany, a promoter maybe getting us in on that. And he said, well, right now the whole roster's full. Maybe we can look at next year. And that next year, of course, when COVID hit. So now things start getting back to normal again, maybe, and we got the release of the record, maybe something will conspire and we can get over there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see you guys on M3 next year. That'd be great.
That would be great.
Oh,
yeah, man. Fingers crossed, dude.
Put a good word in for us.
Well, we don't know them, but I mean, we'd love to see you guys on that.
Wait, they don't watch our show?
Lou, make the call, dude. Come on.
You said that they watched the
Hello,
show.
Frankie's Pizza, 1 pepperoni, please. Thank you.
I'm sure they watch this. I'm sure they do.
Ooh, Frankie's Pizza?
No. Well, they might too.
I don't have a Frankie's, but I mean, it's Gino's. I totally bullshitted you.
Have them deliver down to Texas. We need some of that good New York pizza down here.
Have you guys ever been to New York?
I've been to Manhattan before.
Oh, so you were from Jersey, so yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Jersey for a while, but my brother lives in Philadelphia, and so does my mom, and I have another brother in upstate.
So sorry.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Hey, they got the best cheesesteaks. What the
I
heck?
know,
They do.
but
Yeah,
I know.
Pat's is the shit.
No, Tony Luke's.
Yeah, or Gino's is good too.
They actually had a Tony Luke's franchise down here up until about 2 or 3 years ago. All of a sudden it disappeared, and I was like, what the fuck, man? I love it.
Infamia. Disgraziado. That's horrible.
I went to New York once. It was Manhattan. I think might have been 9 or 10 or some. And I think we got on one of the streets, left the hotel, and within 5 minutes, my mom's wallet got jacked.
Oh my God. It didn't take long.
I'd say things have changed, but no, they haven't.
No, they haven't. So you've seen Times Square then, haven't you? Very nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to New York.
I wouldn't advise doing that. I mean, we took the train from Philly to into Newark, and then from Newark into Penn Station. And I mean, nowadays, from what I hear, you don't even going to go anywhere near that.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a death wish.
Yep.
And it's very reminiscent of the movie Death Wish too.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
We need a Charlie Bronson. I didn't say that. Anyway.
It's not still reminiscent of the Warriors, is it? Warriors.
We're talking Brooklyn right now.
Okay.
Now, I would say it's equivalent to Tromaville. I mean, very Toxic Avenger-y, like around it.
Oh.
Hey, wasn't Riot from Long Island?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were.
Yeah.
The
Long
guitar
Island or
player.
Brooklyn, Wayne?
No, Long Island.
Mark Rial, I think.
Yep.
What about Guy Speranza? Was he also from?
I think he was from San Antonio. I thought he was from San
Was he?
Antonio or something.
The
Man, he had an
early,
accent.
the early version of Riot was from Long Island, but then as they went on, other
It
people
was different
joined.
members and stuff.
Yeah.
They were an awesome band.
Fire Down Under, one of my favorite all-time albums.
Yeah, I like
Swords
rock
and
speed.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone
Yes,
that starts off an album with a song like Swords and Tequila is all right by me. So
Yeah,
There
man.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I know you guys got to get into the studio to practice for your tour, next show.
Yes.
Right?
No, they don't. We're having a good time. Stay.
No, I had to switch my time because they got to go practice.
Yeah, if you guys want to do this again, whenever we get the new CD in,
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Wayne, give a listen to Up the Ante, and and you'll hear the Judas Priest stuff that we did, and we'd love to do it again.
Yeah.
If you guys
Yeah,
can,
we will definitely have you on here. Yep.
We love to
We'll
have you.
definitely do that.
Okay.
Now, are you guys on Facebook?
We are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I went and liked your page already.
Okay.
But,
all right.
but yeah, I'm John Anthony Adams on Facebook, or just find Love and War send us
Yep,
a
that I
message.
did find.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'll friend you on
Okay,
Donny,
sounds good.
Donny Bragg with a Y.
Donny Bragg. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
find you on Facebook and I'll add you.
All right.
All right.
Cool,
Very
man.
cool. And where can people go and find you? The website?
If you actually go to our Facebook page, there's a little notation right there of our website. It's basically love-and-war.com, if I remember right. But it'll if you just go to the Facebook page, you can there's a link to the website.
Okay.
You can see all the updates and everything there. And it's the same thing on our Facebook page. We're also on Instagram, and that'll all of our shows coming up, whatever any latest news will be.
And what's the Facebook? Is it Love and War? Is it Love and War Rock or
It's just Love and War.
Love? All right, you're lucky because that's a common name. So
It is very common. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look for the bomber plane, the cover of Edge of the World, that's our cover photo. So,
very
And
cool.
you can find them on all streaming platforms such as iTunes and Spotify. So check them out.
yeah, you can. Yep, we're all out there. The first record is, and hopefully here pretty soon I'll get up the ante on there as well. I dragged my ass on that one.
Awesome.
I haven't got that one on there yet.
I hope so, because people definitely need to hear that, and people definitely need
Thanks,
to hear
guys.
Edge of the World because it's a very good album, and everybody will enjoy it. So
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Wayne.
I thank you both, John and Donnie, for coming on the show. Lou, I don't thank you at all.
Lou, thank you. Pleasure to meet you, brother.
Thank you guys for
Nice to
having
meet
us.
you guys.
Yes, nice to meet you too. And everybody, we will see you next week. RatSourReview.com. Goodbye.
Demone.
Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, look no further than the Ratsaw Review Network. Ratsaw Review is taking over the podcast world with plenty of shows to choose from within their network of entertaining programming, including the flagship show Ratsaw Review with Wayne Noon, Greg Noggle, and Lou Mavs, as well as occasional co-hosts Manny Mejias and James Lilquist. We also have the official Ratsaw Review spin-offs, such as Album vs. Album, Screams from the Grave, where we discuss beloved yet forgotten hard rock and metal albums of the past, and a King Diamond podcast called This Broadcast Belongs to Them. We've also got Old Man Metal's Musings, The Right Opinion with Harrison Bergeron, Beyond Bushido, a podcast dedicated to pro wrestling and MMA with James Lilquist and Eric Adams. No relation to the guy from Manowar or the mayor of New York City. The Vieira Vault with Ralph Vieira. Schmack-a-magob to you too, Ralph. The Timo Tolkki podcast featuring Stradivarius and Avalon founding member Timo Tolkki. The BS Sessions with Mark and Jerry. Just the Cheese Please, a podcast dedicated to cheesy films of the 1980s with Tara J. and Adam. The Friday Night Party with the great Harry Barnett and Evie. And the Music is Life podcast with Lou Mavs. The Ratsaw Review Network is your go-to one-stop shop for the best podcasts out there today. Go to ratsawreview.com for more info and to find out where you can find, follow, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and all streaming platforms. The Ratsaw Review Network. We're taking over.